Greece, the home of myths and legends, also the setting of one of the most intense races of all time. The Acropolis Rally, 1983. Cars gunned around perilous mountain roads, kicking up waves of ancient dust, tearing past groves of olive trees and stone ruins like a lightning bolt thrown by Zeus himself. Reckless Greeks, perhaps confusing themselves for immortals, crowded the circuit, cheering on rally gods, living demigods like Henna Mikula, Walter Rohrl, Jimmy McRae, and Athena herself, Michelle Mouton. Greece was hot and dry that summer. Temps in the cockpit of the cars reached 160 degrees. The team to beat was Audi and their powerful all-wheel drive Quattros that muscled through the course like Leonidas and his Spartans. On the other side were the rear-wheel drive Lancia 037s, prepared to battle with Audi like the deep voice guy with the nose ring. But suddenly, it started to rain. The gods were in a mischievous mood. Dust turned to mud, and suddenly the Quattros had a huge leg up on their competition with their 4 powered wheels. But who would end up taking home the trophy? The event was part of the 1983 World Rally Championship, a now legendary year of Group B action that saw Audi and Lancia fighting not just for the title, but for whose philosophy of racing was the greatest. What's more important, power or handling, muscle or style, German reliability or Italian pizzazz? Today on Pass Gas, it's Rally 83, Audi and Lancia, dust and dirt, snow and fire. Group B at its grittiest and greatest.
Pass Gas Podcast. It's about cars, it's not about Fords.
Breaking news. This is an important PSA and it's brought to you by Manscaped.com. This is your pubic service announcement and the news you've all been waiting for. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, which is now available for purchase in the US of A and Canada. This new trimmer was just released almost moments ago, and we are one of the first people to get our hands on it and share the news with you. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. With this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code GAS20 at manscaped.com. Guys, I use Manscaped products all the time. They're really high quality. They won't let you down. I'm one of the first people to try the new 4.0, and I'm blown away by the performance. This thing is amazing. The craftsmanship and details on the 4.0 are next level. Their advanced ceramic blade and skin-safe technology is so good that it almost seems as if Manscaped worked with Elon Musk's engineers to ensure your testes are just as safe as possible. Look, guys, being properly groomed is important, and Manscaped is a good first step to getting there. They make it super easy. What makes this trimmer different than all other hair trimmers? A new multifunction on-off switch can engage a travel lock, created for people who like to travel. That's pretty interesting, so it doesn't turn on and waste your battery while it's in your bag. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Let me tell you, you're going to want to keep that thing on all the time. It's a game changer. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all over through additional guard lengths with sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, this thing is sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish that features a hot foil stamped black chrome Manscaped logo. Show that mower off loud and proud. It's a good-looking piece of machinery, I'll tell you that. The optimized Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer is waterproof, so you can groom in the shower and not have to worry about making a mess on the bathroom floor. Been there, okay, guys? And did I mention this thing has wireless charging? That's right. The Lawnmower 4.0's new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Pretty impressive. If you're still trimming your face with your ball trimmer, it's time to make some changes, fellas. Your balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with code GAS20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code GAS20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Big thanks to our sponsor for this episode this week, guys. It is Valvoline Motor Oil. Valvoline is the original motor oil. Not only were they the first patented motor oil brand, they've also had many firsts in the industry. They're the first high mileage oil, the first synthetic blend, and the first racing oil. Those are some freaking awesome firsts to have. and they've never stopped innovating. You guys know how much I love Valvoline. These guys are always constantly reinventing formulas to provide the ultimate protection for every engine on the road today. In fact, every motor oil Valvoline makes has been recently reformulated to provide 40% better wear protection than industry standards. 40%! They could have done 5%. They could have done 10%, and that would have been pretty dang impressive. They went 40%! 40% better than industry standards. Valvoline is proven to maximize engine life by fighting the 4 main causes of engine breakdown, talking heat, friction, wear, and deposits. You don't want those in your engine. I use Valvoline in my car. I've been using that Valvoline high mileage motor oil, and she recently ticked 160,000 miles. She's still chugging along, and that's thanks to Valvoline high mileage oil. Another reason we love Valvoline over here at Past Gas, they've been synonymous with some of racing's greats. I'm talking Mark Martin, Cale Yarborough, AJ Foyt, and our new NASCAR Cup champion, Chase Elliott. So get it for your car. Do yourself a favor, head on over to valvoline.com/original and find the right oil for your engine. Thank you very much, Valvoline, for sponsoring this episode.
I've been really concentrating on beatboxing for the past year.
Well, welcome to Past Gas, everyone. I'm your host, Nolan Sykes, joined as always by my co-hosts. We got James Sandstorm Pumphrey over there.
Party people, party people, yeah, get it ready. I can't wait for foam parties to come back. It's gonna be the foamiest summer. Getting all that foam on this summer.
Wow, and Joe the Foam Weber over there.
Foam it up.
Joe is the foam to my party, baby. If there's no Joe, I'm not going. Just like if there's no foam at the party, I'm not going to show up. Okay. If you want the pump at your party, you best get some foam. Coconut flavored, preferably.
They have flavored foams?
Yeah,
let's hear about this. Let's hear about it. Before we get to the story.
The foam?
I would like to know
I've
about
been to one foam party. I was 15 years old, maybe 16.
That's too young for a foam party.
It was spring break at Destin, Florida. It's the perfect age for a foam party because if you're any older at a foam party, you're an idiot. And it was coconut smelling.
Whoa.
It smelled like pina coladas.
I feel like if you ate that, you probably get the squirts.
Yeah, you just chug soap.
Wow. Well, there's this one guy who's like, he's the foam king of Pensacola, Florida, and he's like, I've got my secret recipe, the perfect ratio for foam to smells.
I provide all the foam to the entire 305 area.
I remember once my friend Ross and I were drinking stuff, and he was like, you know what? When I'm like can start going to bars, I think my drink is gonna be like whiskey and Dr. Pepper. And I remember even like at that age, I was like, "Yeah, order that in a bar, you."
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get a.
He's
whiskey.
on Broadway. He's a great guy. He's on Broadway. He's expecting a baby in June.
Oh,
So
congratulations!
shout out to Ross Lee Kites, one of my first car friends. We used to get in emotional fights about whose car was faster.
Why did you just race?
We did. And my car was faster until he got a tune. He had a Mark IV Jetta with a 1.8T, and I had a Mark III VR6 GTI. And out of the box, my car was faster, but then he got a chip, and then he was faster. And then I developed a chip on my old shoulder.
All right. Well, anyway, today we're not talking about Broadway. We're talking about
the Broadway of racing.
Yeah, that's
B.
right. Group B. We've talked about Michel Mouton before, so we've talked a little bit about Group B racing.
You're going to hear a lot of names that you've heard in this podcast and on the Donut Media YouTube channel. We're talking about Walter Rohrl. We're talking about Michel Mouton.
And just a heads up, we're gonna mispronounce every name. Because it's a bit we do. It's not because we don't actually know how it's pronounced. We do know how it's pronounced. We just want to.
Yeah, we do. It's not because we're like dumb guys without college.
No, it's
education.
completely conscious.
I think we have like 2 years of community college between us. Between the three of us.
Yeah, I have a certificate that I call a diploma.
The only diploma I have is from heart rehab.
My dog has more college experience than I do.
All right, well, I guess on that note, let's get into it. Group B is often referred to as the golden age of rally racing. It was introduced by the FIA in 1982, and its rules gave birth to an incredibly powerful and ultimately dangerous new era of rally, with very few regulations to keep things in check. And just for those who haven't, this might be your first episode, maybe this is the first thing you've ever heard about racing. Rally racing is not traditional circuit racing with multiple cars on track. Rally is point to point. Cars go one at a time, and they're timed between the 2 points. And over the course of an event, the team with the lowest time wins. Just a little background for you. Homologation requirements, meaning the number of units per year that the car manufacturer was required to produce each year to enter a car, were reduced to a paltry 200 vehicles, compared to the 5,000 cars a year in Group N and Group A. High-tech building materials were now allowed, as well as unrestricted turbocharged boost. Basically, while previous rally regulations had tried to keep the cars somewhat close to production versions, in Group B, they were almost completely unleashed. For example, in the year before Group B, the average rally car produced about 250 horsepower. But by 1986, the final year of Group B, that average was up to 500 horsepower.
That's ridiculous.
And that's the average.
Yeah, average. So you're going to have a lot of them above the median, right?
Yeah. That's
Making
big
like numbers.
How much horsepower did like the RS500 have? Because that was like a tiny car.
I don't know.
Off the top of your head.
I'm going to guess 300.
560.
560. Okay. I'm going to say 340.
All right, let's see it. I probably guessed way too low.
Whoa. Up to 4. Wait. Whoa. 650? No way. That
Wow.
gotta be right.
No, that's right.
What? That thing is like the size of an MR2.
That's why they made it illegal. Like that is like the reaction to the specs on Group B cars is very often no way. Like it was just no holds barred. It was the peak of dangerous racing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It'll never get that dangerous again.
Like that makes
Like-
the peaking to Paris sound tame.
It makes it's literally everything is tame compared to Group B racing. Group B racing killed fans. It was dangerous to watch.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if like the NFL like killed fans? Like if you went to an NFL game and your mom is like, I hope you come home.
Yeah. A stray football hit a fan in the eye.
Yeah, and his head exploded.
It's like rollerball.
Oh,
Rollerball.
LL Cool J.
Dude, it's like laser tennis.
Also starring LL Cool J.
He had a pretty long golden age. And speaking of golden age, the golden age of Group B was short. Like most golden ages, the Group B era was short. By 1986, a number of prominent fatalities that James mentioned and the increased cost of racing in the group led manufacturers and the FIA to return to safer, less powerful cars. The group had earned the nickname Killer Bees. Not killer as in cool, but killer as in these cars.
Killer Bee sold 50 gold, 60 platinum.
These cars will kill you even if you're not driving them. As James mentioned, you can die by watching. But the danger is part of what made this era of racing so alluring. Another part were the stars who were driving in Group B. Among them, you had Timo Salonen, Henry Mikkola, Walter Rohrl, and Michel Mouton. In 1982, the Audi Quattro emerged as the dominant car of Group B, with Audi drivers including Mikkola, Mouton, and Stig Blomqvist dominating the season and winning the Constructors' Championship for Audi. However, it was Walter Rohrl driving for Opel who won the Drivers' Championship, beating out Michel Mouton for the title. Rohrl drove the Ascana 400, a rear-wheel drive car which was widely considered outdated and underpowered for the time. But still, the car was capable of impressive feats in the hands of the German driver, a man who Niki Lauda once called a genius on wheels.
That's a good soundbite to have.
Yeah.
I put that on every resume.
Yeah, that's high praise for sure.
Yeah, it's like, I wouldn't even have a resume. I'd be like, Niki Lauda called me a genius on wheels.
Yeah, it's on your business card.
Yeah. Yeah, genius, like just the quote, genius on wheels, Niki Lauda.
Yeah.
Pretty tight. Rohrl, born in 1947, had grown up the son of a stonemason in post-war Germany. His parents had divorced when he was 10, a rare event in the Catholic community that the family was a part of. After that, Walter lived with his mom, and at the age of 16, started working for a businessman who represented the interests of the Bishop of Regensburg. One of Rohrl's roles, say that 10 times fast, say that 10 times fast, 10 times fast, was one of Rohrl's roles was as a chauffeur for the businessman, giving young Walter extensive driving experience at a young age. In that era, it was a lucky and rare chance to get driving experience, especially for a young guy with a blue-collar background. Also giving Rohrl an edge was that he was a true athlete, in a time before professional drivers were expected to be athletes. He skied extensively and was even part of an exclusive skiing club called the Schneeferschuh, German for
Schnee for sure, dude.
Schnee for sure, dude.
You schnee? Yeah, dude, I schnee for sure.
That's German for snow explorers. And even though his contract stipulated that if he injured himself skiing, he'd lose his salary, Walter still skied throughout his career, earning a reputation for skiing as fast as he drove, which is another thing I'd put on my business card.
That guy's skiing at 140 miles an hour.
He was also into cycling, riding for thousands of miles a year alongside pros who had competed in the Tour de France. Safe to say that throughout all of his rally career, he was probably in better shape than any of his competition.
Well, despite Walt's fitness, in 1983, his opponents had what seemed to be a distinct advantage. They sat behind the wheel of a fearsome rally machine, the Audi Quattro. The Quattro made its debut at the 1980 Geneva Motor Show. The concept was inspired by the development of the Volkswagen Iltis, German for polecat.
Ooh.
What's a polecat?
That's a skunk, baby.
Is it?
Yep.
Weird.
It's a skunk.
Polecat is a skunk. Yes,
A
sir.
stinky skunk.
Skunks have other attributes besides being stinky. It's a defense mechanism. They don't do it all the time. It's when they either get run over or attacked by another animal.
Their farts smell like really good weed. It was inspired by the German Iltis, German for polecat, the stinky skunk. It was a four-wheel drive, front-engine military vehicle that had been developed for the German army. The government had chosen the car over the more expensive Mercedes G-Wagon, and its versatility and practicality gave VW the idea to develop an Audi version for rally racing. The Iltis most notably performed well in snow and mud, a definite advantage for several of the more challenging World Rally events. The Quattro sported a 2.1-liter inline-5 that sent power to all four wheels via a 6-speed transmission. I am hyped on 5-cylinder engines today, boys. I gotta say, my Golf is running.
Nice. Did
Head on.
I see it's at the dyno already?
No. It will be soon. By the time that this podcast airs, it will be at the dyno and hopefully on a truck back to my house.
I think you should fly to North Carolina and drive it back.
I think I don't want to wear a mask for 12 hours.
The Iltis, by the way, is kind of funky looking. I don't know if you guys have seen pictures of it.
Whoa. It's like a Jeep.
It's like a Jeep, sort of.
It's like a Jeep and a VW thing had a baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, dude, this goes on my list of if I ever have a summer house, this could be my little freaking town car. But there's one catch to the Iltis. Rally didn't actually allow four-wheel drive.
Huh.
Knowing they had a killer four-wheel drive car, Audi lobbied the FIA for a rule change at the last possible minute, squeaking in under the wire and in a sneakily low-key way, paving the way for the Quattro to become the first car to take advantage of the rule change Audi had lobbied for.
Didn't they or the legend has it, is that at like a FIA kind of rule meeting where the manufacturers were agreeing on regulations, right before closing the meeting, that's when Audi brought up the proposed rule change, and everyone was just like, we've been here like for 2 days. According to Jeremy Clarkson, they like waited till everyone was putting their jackets on. And then they were like, oh, just like real quick, what if we could do four-wheel drive? And everyone's like, fine, whatever. My Uber's here.
They're like the kid in class that asks if we have homework.
Yeah.
Hate that kid.
Yeah. And I'll find you one day.
Big thanks to Chime for sponsoring this episode of Past Gas. As someone who doesn't have a lot of money, I often think of how much my bank is screwing me over. Like, why shouldn't your bank just work for you and not against you? That's why I like Chime. Chime is an award-winning app and debit card with no hidden fees or no monthly minimums. I mean, this is your money. You earned it. Why shouldn't you be able to keep all of it? There are a bunch of cool features on Chime, too many to list in just a 60-second ad spot, so I'm going to go over my favorite, like fee-free overdraft. When I overdraft my account, I shouldn't have to pay an extra $35-40. Chime has fee-free overdraft on up to $100 in debit purchases with SpotMe. It's like overdraft protection, but better. They also have direct deposit, which is great because I was waiting for my stimulus check for like over a month. If I had Chime's direct deposit, things like paycheck, benefits, stimulus checks, and tax returns are delivered up to 2 days earlier, which is super cool. Another cool thing is there's no hidden fees or monthly minimums, plus 38,000 fee-free ATMs with MoneyPass and Visa Plus Alliance. Chime has great security. You can turn on alerts to let you know when your card is used and instantly block your card if something seems a little off or fishy. Save on autopilot. When you sign up for a Chime spending account, you can enroll in an optional savings account and grow your savings automatically with 0.5% annual percentage yield, 10 times the national average. Just a side note, the Chime spending account is required. Savings account is optional. Join the millions on Chime. Sign up takes 2 minutes and it doesn't affect your credit score. Apply now at chime.com/gas. That's chime.com/gas. Chime is a financial technology company. Banking services provided by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Overdraft only applies to debit card purchases. Limit starts at $20 and may increase by up to $100 by Chime. Early direct deposit depends on the payer. Out of the network cash withdrawal fees apply. Third party and cash deposit fees may apply. Go to chime.com/gas for details. Thank you, Chime. Thin is in, they say, but what's good about a thin steak or a thin wallet or thinning hair? I don't know, ask me. I got a bunch of those, thin wallet and thin hair, and all I buy is thin steaks. The answer to these rhetorical questions is nothing. So why then is every brand of men's body wash so weak and watered down? Any argument for using this crap is pretty thin, like my steaks. Enter Thick, a new product from Duke Cannon Supply Company. Thick earns its name by being 3 times thicker than common body washes. It's the high viscosity alternative to watching your money run down the shower drain. Thick comes in a big ass container that lets you crack open like a beer, and it comes in 4 distinctly masculine scents that won't leave you smelling like a teenage boy, unless that's what you want. Thin is out, thick is in. I'm a huge fan of Duke Cannon and all their products. I loved cracking this open like a beer. Just from an ASMR level, it was very satisfying. And then also the scents smell really good. I love those smoky bourbon scents and stuff. But they also have scents like Naval Diplomacy, a refreshing ocean scent with notes of fresh water, musk, and bergamot. Or you can go with Old Glory, which is a blend of tobacco, cedarwood, and amber. Or Productivity, which is pine, peppermint, and eucalyptus. Honestly, every choice is great. You can buy 1 for $9, or you can get all 4 for $30, which is a steal. Had enough of the thin gruel that is your current body wash? I know I have. Thick is made with plant-based thickeners for superior lather, so you're not going to need that gross loofah anymore. And as an added bonus, when you heft a 17.5 ounce bottle of Thick, you're getting in a light arm workout. Visit DukeCannon.com and use the promo code PASTGAS, one word, for 10% off your entire order. Free shipping with orders over $20. A range of Duke Cannon men's premium products are also available at select Target stores. That's DukeCannon.com and use the promo code PASTGAS, one word. Thank you, Duke Cannon.
Big thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring this episode. Guys, don't forget this breaking news, this pubic service announcement that you're all been waiting for. That's right, Manscaped, they've come out with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. It's better than ever and is now available for purchase in the USA and Canada. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code GAS20 at manscaped.com. This thing is brand new, and I'm pretty much blown away by the performance. I've used it. It's dope. Let me tell you why. First of all, the craftsmanship and fit and finish on this thing are next level. The Lawnmower 4.0 has an advanced ceramic blade and skin-safe technology. It keeps your balls nice and safe when you're trimming your you're trimming your lovelies. I don't know if that's the right slang, but it sounds funny, and that's why I'm going to say it. It really protects cuts and nicks. Since using this thing, I haven't had any painful incidents. We'll just leave it at that. It's got a new multifunction on-off switch, which can also engage a travel lock. So if you throw this thing in your travel bag, it won't like accidentally turn on and waste all of its battery. You could also turn off the 4000K LED spotlight. I don't know why you would. That's probably my favorite feature on this thing. This thing's also got wireless charging like it's a dang smartphone. It uses electromagnetic induction, which can help increase battery life. It's amazing. Come on. Manscaped didn't need to do this, but they did. They put a wireless charger in your ball hair trimmer. It's also waterproof, so you can trim in the shower, which is super convenient. Treat yourself, dude. Rest assured that Manscaped will treat your body right. I trust Manscaped with my body. If you're still trimming your face with your ball trimmer, it's time to make some changes. Get 20% off and free shipping with code GAS20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code GAS20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Thank you, Manscaped. Now back to the show.
Maybe the weirdest thing about the Quattro was its name, Italian for four. Well, it made logical sense. It seemed odd for such a German company to borrow the language of its competitor nation in naming its car. You wouldn't expect to see a Lancia Launchwagen, for example. Over a decade of production, nearly 12,000 Quattros were built, an impressive number given that many of its competitors were squeaking by with producing the homologation minimums. Still, the car was not without its critics. Motorsport noted that its design valued brute force over all else. It was, quote, tough, strong, built like a tank. That's what I say about Nolan. Basically putting function over form in all ways. Some of the Audi team members even took to referring to the Quattro as the electronic tractor, a purpose-built utilitarian machine built for a single job: winning rallies.
Tilling dirt.
1983 was the second year of Group B. Audi was now the reigning manufacturer champion, and they chose not to mess with their winning formula, keeping Henry Mikkola and Michel Mouton as their top drivers, both behind the wheel of the Audi Quattro A1. Elsewhere in the sport, there were changes. Walter Rohrl, the driver's champion, decided he could find a superior ride to the Opel Ascana 400. He had also refused to appear in a commercial for the automaker's tobacco sponsor, apparently souring his relationship for the team. The German fitness freak instead signed with Lancia, an Italian team with a long rally history. Lancia, founded in 1906 by Fiat racing drivers, had rally built into its DNA. Before the establishment of the World Rally Championship, they had won the final international championship for manufacturers, and in the WRC era, they had won the constructors' title 3 times during the 1970s with a car called the Stratos.
Ooh, yeah.
Or Stratos.
The shortest rally car.
The Stratos was designed by Bertone and matched radical Italian design with the grit of rally. This thing is a little spaceship. It looks like a Polygon from Pokemon. Very angular machine. In 1982, Lancia had paired with Martini Racing, a team financed by Count Metello Rossi de Montalera, the owner of the Martini and Rossi distillery. You know, they make little, not simple syrups. What do they make? What's that called?
Vermouth.
Sweet vermouth.
Weren't you like, I remember when you did a video on them and you were like, I just went to the store and bought Martini and Rossi and it's so cheap.
I mean, yeah, it is cheap. It's like cheap vermouth. I did not know that. You expect
Yeah,
this
because it looks
legendary-
fancy on a race
Yeah,
car. And
yeah,
then you
this-
get to the store and it's like on the bottom shelf.
In addition to fine vermouth and car racing, Martini was also known for sponsoring a team of power boats that sported the ironic name Dry Martini. It's boats, winning the Powerboat World Championship in 1973 and 74.
Because boats.
It's dry. The Martini livery was iconic and still is, featuring a pattern of blue and red stripes that flowed playfully around the body of all their race cars and, I assume, racing boats.
One of the best liveries ever.
Yeah, it's iconic. You know, it's lasted for a reason. By 1983, the Audi Quattro's success made everyone realize that four-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive, was the way of the future in rally. But Lancia had gone a different way, and they were sticking with it. The Lancia 037 was a mid-engined, rear-wheel drive car, and in most respects, it couldn't be more different than the Quattro. This thing is like an evolution of the Stratos formula. I think it's a cooler looking car, in my opinion.
It's super cool. And just reading this makes me want to drive a rear wheel drive car in the dirt. Just huck it.
Get squirrely.
Get sendy with it.
Oh, dude, we should make a shirt that says "Huck it and get squirrely."
Anyway, the design was a collaboration between Abarth, the performance division of Fiat, and the Italian design studio Pininfarina. Loosely based on the Lancia Monte Carlo road car, the body was sleek and race car-like, less beefy and boxy in comparison to the Quattro. It featured a so-called double-bubble roofline, a carryover from Lancia's designs of the 50s and 60s. While the Quattro was 2,600 pounds, the weight of the Lancia was significantly less, at 2,100, 500 pounds less. The Italian car was also about a foot shorter than its German counterpart. So it's lighter, much shorter wheelbase, more nimble, I'm assuming, but rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, I'm sure the all-wheel drive system was pretty heavy.
I would assume so, yeah. According to Jeremy Clarkson's feature on the rally in Grand Tour Season 2, which is worth a watch if you haven't seen it, and if you have, this is probably sounding a little familiar, Lancia employed a series of shady tactics to sneak the 037 through the various regulatory hoops the FIA put in its way. This included trickery to get past the regulations on how many cars needed to be manufactured, basically driving cars from one site to another to get them counted twice. The cars also used suspiciously weak roll cages, helping with the weight of the car, but probably not honoring the spirit of the safety requirements. The cars were notorious for getting crushed like soda cans whenever they got in a crash, a big difference from the nearly indestructible rally cars built by many of its competitors. The fragility of the car had cost Lancia in 1982 when they struggled to match Audi and Opel's reliability. Between the Italian flashiness and the underhanded tactics, avowed Catholic and proud German Walter Rohrl was a hilarious choice to helm this team. He was also perhaps the most humble man to ever call himself a race car driver. He didn't even want to drive in all the races, although it would probably greatly help his chances of winning another driver's championship. But he didn't care to win the championship again. In Walter's words, quote,
I want to be a normal man, not something special. If you're always in the newspaper and everywhere, you're never alone. People standing in front of your house, I don't like.
Went from
That's a great
German to like, yeah.
That's a sound clip of him.
Yeah, we found it, isolated it.
Isolated it, licensed it legally, and are using it. As the season began, the director of motorsport for Lancia, an Italian by the name of Cesare Fiorio, worked to gain every advantage for his team. Knowing that the more delicate Lancia car fared well in better conditions on smoother roads, at the season opener in Monte Carlo, Fiorio had his team salt the roads in advance of certain stages and even pressured local officials to maintain the roads better, not out of any safety concern, but in hopes of gaining an advantage. They also employed a unique strategy. Since portions of certain stages transitioned from rocky gravel to road, Lancia arranged for their support team to quickly change the Lancia's tires mid-stage, an innovation that technically didn't violate any rules and gave the team's drivers a distinct advantage.
This guy in my head looks like Wario.
Uh-huh.
Like he's out just like sprinkling salt on the road. Like,
Yeah. He looks like Wario, and probably looks like Waluigi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Walter Rohrl had won the event in 1981 in a front-engine rear-wheel drive Fiat, and again with his Opel Ascana in 1982. In 1983, he made it 3 years in a row with 3 different cars, winning the first race of the year for Lancia. Aiding Rohrl was the absence of snow at a typically wintry event, a stroke of luck for the Italians, whose other car, driven by Finnish racer Markku Allen, took second place in the event, forcing Audi's Stig Blomqvist to settle for a third-place finish. Lancia was off to a hot start in the cold weather opener of the season. But for the next race, in Sweden, where snowier weather was predicted, Lancia skipped the event, handing Hannu Mikkola of Audi the win. At the Rally de Portugal, crowds closed in on the roads, giving the event a hectic feel. Motorsports reporter at the rally could only shake his head, saying, quote, "The technical organization of the Portuguese rally is fine, but the manner in which the unruly crowds are allowed to run wild points to inexcusable negligence on the part of the organizers. Stop. We have spoken to them about this on many occasions. Stop. And the answers have never been more than a shrug of the shoulders. Stop. If they want a lesson in precision stage control, they should go to Finland to see how it's done there. Complete stop."
This is 1983. It's not 1883.
I'm looking at footage of this right now, and this is like the archetypal Group B footage. These guys are just right up next to the track.
Just trying to touch the car.
Hundreds of people, yeah.
Like, I'm not joking. Like, people would try and slap the cars.
My God.
One time I was on the school bus when I was a kid, and I slapped a tree, and like it just hurt really bad. And immediately I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, right. We're going 45." Lancia was expected to gain an early advantage in the paved section of the rally, and while they did, the Audi Quattros were close behind, closer than the Italians had expected. They were like, "Mamma mia, that car is way closer than I thought she would be." That was a quote. Worse for Lancia, 3 stages were canceled due to a strike of glass workers who blocked a river-spanning bridge and shortened the portion of the event where Lancia stood to gain an advantage. That's awesome.
They made just a big glass like barrier.
Yeah, it was 2 guys holding a big pane of glass, and they were like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." Stig Blomqvist of Audi gained the lead, but his rear differential seized, leaving him with only front-wheel drive.
Ooh.
Yeah. More like wrong-wheel drive, am I right? JK, I have a front-wheel drive car, and it's fun. He pitted, but the team lacked the spare part. His teammate Mikkola took the lead, with Walter Rohrl in second ahead of Michel Mouton. Rohrl had various setbacks, including losing his headlights at one point and finishing the last few miles of a stage with a flat tire. In the end, it was Mikkola in front, with Michel Mouton edging out Rohrl by less than a minute for the second-place spot. It was now clear the season would be a duel between the German and Italian teams. At this point, it was Hannu Mikkola of Audi who led the field. The 41-year-old Finn had been rallying professionally for 20 years with 12 WRC event wins and dozens of podium finishes. Although he was highly consistent, he had never won the championship, and many saw the 1983 season as his last chance to do so. For the past 5 years in a row, he'd finished either second or third in the championship. And now he committed to a grueling schedule, all 12 of the year's WRC events, in a last-ditch attempt to win it all. He'd left a well-established Ford team in 1981 to take his chances in an unproven Audi, a decision that seemed to have paid off. The biggest challenge for Hannu was Walter Rohrl, a guy who didn't even seem that interested in being a champion.
With the storyline for the season in place, the circus moved to Kenya for the Safari Rally. It
It was an event that, in the words of one reporter, had to be measured not in seconds, but in minutes. Where the Swedish rally was 290 miles long, the Safari rally was 3,128, more than 10 times the distance. The epic length of the course understandably favored the more reliable Audi cars, to the point where, once again, Lancia simply chose not to compete. I think they can go much further at the Safari rally because, like, the land is a little bit more flat. Of course, there are hazards and all that kind of stuff, but in comparison to some more technical courses, the hazard is probably not as high.
It's more of like endurance than
Yes.
technical ability.
Yes. The next race was the Tour de Corse in France. The rally's nickname is the 10,000 Turns Rally, taking place on twisty mountain roads that are highly dangerous, but also completely paved. Lancia dominated, with Marco Allen and Walter Rohrl taking first and second, respectively. Interestingly, a Lancia 037 also took third place, but it was driven not by a Martini racing driver, but by Odartico Vudafieri of Jolly Club, a scrappy and independent Italian racing team. The car's livery sported similar shapes to the Martinis, but in green and orange instead of blue and red. We found a website that tells the tale of the founding of the Jolly Club. It appears to be written by an Italian person with the help of Google Translate, so bear with this quote here.
It could have seemed the beginning of a horror film. After all, the environment is that one, but the history that we are about to tell is a completely different. That evening of 11th February 1957, as already told, in Milan, it was indeed a cold, and the fog, she covered everything, creating a dark and silent atmosphere. Almost all of the cafes was closed. No espressos. With a shot of tonic water. And the people in the street were a very few. But not the Giannino! There was a big ferment of people there, and the owner that same evening had been informed by Mario Angelionini to reserve a table away from the confusion because they had to discuss a rather delicate matters. After the 8 p.m., the table companion arrived. A supper amongst friends, a glass of wine, 4 chatters, a signature on a contract, and a handshake, and a boom, she goes. The foundations of the future Jolly Club team, she had been laid. A race team constituted by 18 friends whose rules, most of all, was based on passion, loyalty, friendship, and amusement, all managed with a true professionalism.
The Jolly Club rally team only very, very good, James.
Subtle.
The Jolly Club only lasted for a few years in the 80s, but after that description, consider us fans. So they're just like
So that was all to say that they ate spaghetti and signed a contract.
Yeah. Hey man, flowery language, very good. As far as Audi versus Lancia went, it was the Italians who now led the Manufacturers' Cup by a 2-point margin. And with that, the series reached Greece in the Acropolis Rally, where Michel Mouton had won in 1982 and was considered the favorite going into it. But it was there that the season started to take a strange turn. The Audi Quattro, whose strength was supposed to be its reliability, started to fail. Mikola was in the lead, but then the lid of his trunk broke. This led to his oil cooler getting disconnected. The Audi support team was in disarray and apparently couldn't help. Eventually, the car broke down completely, forcing Mikola and his co-driver to walk the last 5 miles of the stage.
Oof.
Ouch. Walter Rohrl's supposedly delicate Lancia went the distance, giving him another victory and a lead in the Drivers' Championship over Mikola. As a motorsport article from 1984 put it, quote,
If nothing else, the 1983 World Rally Championship helped disprove 2 myths. Stop. The first, the Germans are without exception coldly and clinically efficient. Stop. The second that Italians are always in turmoil, always having a crisis, stop. The championship would have seemed to indicate that there had been a complete role reversal. Stop.
You almost went into Waluigi.
In Greece, that Freaky Friday energy was in full effect.
A big thanks to our sponsor this week, BetterHelp. Can I ask you something? What interferes with your happiness? For me, it's job stress and paying bills, and it's different for everyone, though. Everyone has different factors leading to anxiety or whatever. Some of those prevent you from achieving your goals, which sucks. That's why I use BetterHelp. They assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist, which is really awesome. Connect in a safe and private online environment. It's super convenient. You don't have to wait in a waiting room. Everything is online and everything is secure. And the best part is you can start communicating within 48 hours. And let me stress, this is not a crisis line. It's not self-help. This is professional counseling done securely online. You can send a message to your counselor at any time and they'll help you out. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, all without having to leave your house or go to an uncomfortable waiting room. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches so they can make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. If you're not super into your counselor, all you have to do is contact them and they'll find you a new one right away. Because honestly, the key to great therapy is finding the right person to open up to. One of the cooler things about BetterHelp is that you can do it wherever you're located. That's anywhere in the world. You don't have to be in America or in Europe. This is available worldwide, like Mr. 305. And you can find the particular expertise you need. Don't limit yourself to the counselors around your area. You can find any counselor that can help you with anything you want, whether that's depression, anxiety, anger, family conflicts. They'll help you cope with anything. I think BetterHelp is great. I went to their website and I checked out some reviews and some of the testimonials, and it seems like it's really helping a lot of people. And as I stated before, everything you share is confidential. BetterHelp is convenient, it's professional, it's affordable. If you don't believe me, you can check out some testimonials that are posted daily on their site. They're also recruiting people in all 50 states right now, which is cool. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor, betterhelp.com/pastgas. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's betterhelp, HELP.com/pastgas. Thank you, BetterHelp.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week, Valvoline Motor Oils. That's right, longtime sponsor of the show. They're back. Valvoline is the original motor oil. Not only were they the first patented motor oil brand, you guys, they've also had many firsts in the industry. You probably know them. They were the first high mileage motor oil, the first synthetic blend, and the first racing oil. As far as I'm concerned, those are some pretty dang good firsts to have. Guess what? They've never stopped innovating. They are constantly reinventing formulas to provide the ultimate protection for every engine on the road today, including mine. That's right, I've got Valvoline in my car. Every motor oil Valvoline makes has been recently reformulated to provide 40% better wear protection than industry standards. Valvoline is proven to maximize engine life by fighting the 4 main causes of engine breakdown: heat, friction, wear, and deposits. Valvoline fights them all. Another reason we love Valvoline over here at Past Gas, they've been synonymous with some of racing's greats. I'm talking Mark Martin in that beautiful number 6 Valvoline car, Cale Yarborough, AJ Foyt, and our new NASCAR Cup champion, Chase Elliott. Chase is doing well this year. So do yourself a favor, choose Valvoline for your car. Head on over to valvoline.com/original to find the right oil for your engine. Thank you very much, Valvoline, for sponsoring this episode.
This is where the story gets even weirder. While the World Rally Championship was a series that consisted of 12 events, only 10 of those events counted towards the manufacturer's championship. Racing is so dumb.
There's just so many arbitrary rules.
Yeah, it's just like, it's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing, but every form of racing has too many confusing rules that like require you to be an expert. Like you have to study so much. Like you can watch basketball and be like, oh, those guys are trying to get that into there. Tight. I can watch that. Football. Those guys are trying to get over there. Baseball. That guy's trying to get around. Cool. Oh, they want more guys to get around. Nice. But then there's like little things within that you can be like a super huge fan.
Yeah.
But like racing isn't even like, oh, that guy's first. I guess it is. I don't know. The points are dumb. The fact that there are points are dumb. 2 events, Sweden and Côte d'Ivoire, or Ivory Coast, only counted for the Drivers' Championship. Lancia declined to compete in both of these events, as well as the Safari Rally in Kenya, giving Hannu Mikkola a significant advantage in the Drivers' Championship. In a season where Audi and Lancia drivers occupied a stunning 30 of the 36 total podium spots, the other teams were hardly even a factor. So, while by the end of the season, Hannu Mikkola was pulling away in points and appeared poised to clinch the Drivers' Championship, Lancia's surprising wins in Monte Carlo and Greece had kept them in the race for the Manufacturers' Championship. The next race was in New Zealand, and it was there that Audi's luck went from bad to worse. Michel Mouton had been shut out of a win thus far in the season. It was clear that Audi's car was not the reliable beast it had been in 1982. When Michel Mouton said that the car gave you so much confidence you thought you could fly. In Greece, only one of the Quattros had even finished the event. What was clear in New Zealand was that when the Audi car was functioning, it was the fastest car. But once again, the car proved unreliable. The engine of the car Michelle was piloting failed, costing her not only her first win of the season, but completely shutting Audi out of scoring even a single point in New Zealand. Meanwhile, Walter Rohrl won his 3rd event, once again lagging behind in his Lancia until Audi's own mistakes cost them the win. At the next 2 races, Hannu Mikkola finally found his stride, winning in Argentina and Finland, putting himself within spitting distance of the Drivers' Championship he had dreamed of for decades. Walter Rohrl, for his part, wouldn't even go to Finland because he didn't like the course's notorious jumps. I don't like the jumps. In his words, quote, "If I wanted to fly, I would have been a pilot."
Ooh, roasted. Finland just got roasted.
Finland just got rolled. For her part, Michel Mouton was doing more swimming than flying. The Finland event was called the 1000 Lakes Rally, and when her Quattro caught fire mid-race, she put the blaze out by intentionally driving her car into one of the lakes.
Hell yeah,
Man.
dude.
Dude,
That's
she's
cool.
cool. She's cool as hell. I want to arm wrestle Michel Mouton. Like, I wish like Michel Mouton was like my parents' friend,
Yeah.
and like her and her husband and her like navigator would like we'd go to a cabin every year, like on vacation every year. Like she's like my vacation aunt, and like we started arm wrestling when I was like a little child, and she would just like crush me. And then when I was like 14, I beat her for the first time, and then I eventually it would go from like, you know, when I was a kid, she'd let me beat her. And then when I was an adult and she was like an older lady, I would joke and let her beat me. That's what I wish my relationship with Michel Mouton was.
So you've thought about this before, it seems like.
Yeah, I really wish Michel Mouton was like an aunt figure
Yeah.
in my life. Yes. One.
Like the cool aunt that gives you like a knife for Christmas.
Yeah, she gives me Christmas presents. We don't talk a lot. Obviously, we see each other every summer, but always a Christmas gift, and it's always a gift that like my mom is like, Michelle,
What?
yeah, and she would like, you know, give me a sip of her wine because
Yeah.
she drinks wine because she's French.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like a great fantasy.
It would have been great.
Well, anyway, the World Rally Championship now reached San Remo in Italy, the second to last race to count towards the Manufacturers' Championship before the RAC Rally in Great Britain, the traditional season-ending event. The race, which spanned from the French border to the coast of Tuscany, was a mix of paved and dirt track. Just like in previous races, the paved section, which came earlier, gave Lancia drivers a distinct advantage. Once again, the Audis were plagued by mysterious failure, including yet another fire under the hood of Hannu Mikkola's car. The heck? Although Audi caught up a bit in the dirt, it wasn't enough, and Lancia captured all 3 podium positions. The dominant result meant that Lancia had sealed the Manufacturers' Championship. The scrappy Italian team had not just beaten the Germans, they had dominated, winning despite not even entering the Safari Rally earlier in the season. Somehow the roles had reversed, and Audi had turned out to have less reliable cars. Lancia declined to even enter the cars in the RAC Rally, which did give Audi a major consolation prize. Hannu Mikkola won the Drivers' Championship handily, but Walter Rohrl had only competed in half of the season's events. The Lancia 037's dominance was the end of an era in rally. No two-wheel drive car would ever win a rally championship again. Although Audi and all-wheel drive had lost the battle, they would win the war. In 1984, Walter Rohrl joined Audi alongside Hannu Mikkola, Stig Blomqvist, and Michel Mouton, and the super team dominated the field, easily winning the Manufacturers' Championship. Hannu Mikkola died in February of this year at the age of 78. Walter Rohrl is still alive, with a position at Porsche as a senior test driver for their road cars.
That's fun.
The famously selective and non-competitive champion still drives fast, just not on dirt. A cool footnote is that Rohrl and Mikkola were both inducted into the Rally Hall of Fame the same year, 2011. Class of 2011, you know what I'm saying? That's me. Although Lancia is still around as a company, they haven't competed in the World Rally Championship since 1992.
They make one car and it's super weird.
Yeah, it's very
what's it
bizarre.
called? Isn't it called like the asterisk?
Ypsilon.
Ypsilon.
The asterisk. Yeah.
The asterisks.
It's called Page Break.
Despite the long absence, however, they still have more Manufacturers' Championship titles than any other car maker. Audi, similarly, has not competed in WRC for many years, but for both companies, their rally heritage is clearly a great source of pride. I mean, that's like the whole thing of Audi is like all-wheel drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like their thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Quattro. Read a book.
Quantro.
Casey, my girlfriend, has a Q3 with Quattro.
Mm-hmm.
And when we started dating, I was like, yeah, your car has all-wheel drive. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, that's what Quattro means. And she's like, oh, I thought that was speakers. I was like, yeah, they often advertise the speakers on the back of the car.
Yeah.
What Audi and Lancia's year of rivalry underscores is that our preconceived notions about the culture of certain car brands or that of specific nationalities is just that, notions and not fact. In this story, the Italians turned out to be the reliable ones. The Germans were a mess. And Walter Rohrl, the reigning champion of rally, didn't even really want to win again. He didn't want people standing on his lawn. And who could blame him?
Yeah, I hate when people stand on my lawn.
Yeah, get off my lawn.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the story of 1983 and the WRC. And you've been listening to PG, that's Past Gas, the show that asks questions that you want answered.
This is a fun story, a really, really great season in an awesome sport.
Yeah, since we started this podcast, we've gotten nonstop comments about how we gotta do a story on the 037. And this is a good intro to that.
Hey, if you want to get in touch with us here at Past Gas, pastgas@donutmedia.com. Hit us up with your questions or,
Ooh, fan fiction. If you want to write some Past Gas fan fiction,
Do not
either
send, no.
fan fiction that involves Joe, Nolan, Thomas, and Bridget and I, or fan fiction like that, involves anybody from automotive history, like, Carroll Shelby was a teacher at Hogwarts.
Follow my boys at James Pumphrey, at Joe G. Weber. Follow me at Nolan J. Sykes.
And if you liked this podcast, follow it wherever you listen to podcasts. It's free, and it just makes listening to us again easier. You don't have to search for it. You can even turn on notifications so you get a little text. Is it Monday already?
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. Be kind.
Rewind. I love you.
And keep it juiced.
See you next time.